Hello gamers, welcome back to another Evermore devlog video. Today we are discussing the 7 levels of anime IP, as the title suggests, or that's what I imagine the title will be. So let's just jump right into it. Number 1 is the OC, the character plus the premise. So this is those Sonic OCs that you often see on the internet if you were around back then. Very popular, so this is just a character plus a premise, like, oh, maybe this is their backstory, and maybe that's about it. That's the first level, very basic. Second, we have the outline, so that's why you see nothing in the thumbnail, because this is more of a writing step. This is the narrative arc plus the theme, so this is what actually gives you a story. This is the journey they go on, and this is the lesson that they learn. So this isn't actually has nothing to show visually besides words on a page, but in terms of actually getting a story finished, I think this is what I learned is the crucial step. Number 3 is the web novel, or the first. Basically, this is what I imagine is the first draft of the story, written in sequential order online. A lot of famous anime start off as web novels. I think Sword Art Online was one. There was another one I was reading called The Otherworlder, exploring the dungeon. That one actually completed the web novel, but it didn't finish step 4. But step 3 was finished, the web novel was finished. And I think on the thumbnail you'll see Mabuseka, which actually made it all the way up to step 6, but I checked online. It looks like the web novel has finished, so that's why I have it over there. So then, let's go over to number 4, the light novel. So I think what was interesting about, let's use that example, I've read a couple light novels. I've read The Otherworlder, Exploring the Dungeon. I've read Danmachi. You'll see Danmachi on the thumbnail. I think the light novel actually holds up to the anime, which is why I put it up there. What else? There's I think So I'm a Spider. Also, or was that the manga? I don't remember. I think it might have been a light novel. I don't even remember. It's like very lit RPG. I just remember what the authors often say at the end of their light novel. In the little comments, comment from the author section is they always say oh, I'm so happy that the publisher picked up my web novel and turned it into a light novel, and now I actually have to, outline, I have to plan, I have to revise and edit the mess I made and actually foreshadow everything. But they say they enjoy that. Also, obviously in the stage you get the additional character art, right? You get cover art for the cover, and then maybe you have some I don't know, key art for the scenes where the characters are interacting. So I'd say that's step 4, that's level 4. Level 5 is, obviously manga, right? This is where you get a professional artist here. You actually get art for all the backgrounds, all the key items that the main character has. Maybe it's probably you see their sword on the cover page, the light novel, but maybe you don't see their other little gadgets that they have. Their skills, how they fight in combat. So that energy is really given off in the manga. That's why I chose solo leveling here. Technically it's a manhwa, but the action of solo leveling is so good in the manhwa that it just really pops and gives it that identity, visual identity. Okay, then obviously number 6 we have anime. What did I choose? I don't remember. Oh, I chose Cowboy Bebop because that is a anime exclusive. Yes, that has none of the rest. But obviously, it builds on all the prior elements. Anime, what makes it different from manga, obviously, I'd say is the sound, the music, and the voice acting. I think some anime, my favorite music are, I'd say the opening songs and the ending songs. Those are really important. The voice actors, if you have a famous voice actor, those are celebrities. Sometimes you might just watch it for them. There are definitely a few smaller anime that I've watched just because of the voice actor. And yeah, I think, you know, Attack on Titan. Oh shoot, maybe we should have put Attack on Titan there. But I guess it started from the manga. But the music, I'd say, makes Attack on Titan just feel epic. Obviously the voice acting as well, when they're just like shouting and screaming and all that. Then obviously lastly we have the game, level 7, the game. This would be, you know, systems, like, but now you actually need gameplay, right? That's what's called a game. So you actually need to design some systems that are fun to interact with. Then also, like, you could go the visual novel route, have an interactive plot line. You can actually start to branch out the dialogue trees. So there's not just one possibility for the story, but there's many. And it starts to get more interesting narratively as well. Because, you know, if the player is not happy with the ending of, you know, the anime or the manga, the light novel, the web novel, whatever, right? That means this is your chance, right, where they can actually pick their own ending and find something that they'll be happy with. This is something where they can like earn the ending, or else at least they can feel like they earned the ending. Yeah, so why do I lay it out like this instead of actually, like, you know, like the clickbait titles do, like actually rank the different ones? I mean, obviously, because these are just like, you build on top of each other, right? So my goal is I'm trying to make a game, and I thought I could jump straight to level 7, and I was told, you know, that, you know, actually you can't do that. There's a lot of other things that needs to be done first. And that's why I chose to break it down like this, because this is how, you know, I've seen, you know, you probably some of your favorite anime, or, you know, went through these steps, and eventually they came out with a game as well, just to milk a bit more of that gacha money, or, you know, those collabs, those anime collabs with the games. I'm sure you've seen some of them here and there. Yeah, because when I'm trying to work on a game, I thought I could jump straight to level 7, but as it starts out, you actually need to start at the very start. So, you know, pretty early on, I think, you know, the idea of the game started from the OCs, you know, the characters and their backstories. Like, okay, I want the game to have these characters in it. You know, for some people, maybe their game will just start from a gameplay perspective, like, oh, you know, I want like a sword fighting game, like Half Sword or something like that. But for me, it started with the characters. Then after that, I had to think to myself, okay, now what kind of story do we want to tell with these characters, or what kind of journey do they go on? What kind of message do we want them to learn? So this is the part I'm working on right now, the outline. And I'd say it is taking a good amount of time because I'm fairly ambitious with it. Because I have so many characters, I kind of want each of them to have, you know, a little story to them. So it takes some time to actually, like, kind of flesh out their motivations, like, and like their flaws. Like, okay, they'll start here and then they'll go here. Like, maybe they'll start at the bottom and they'll go to the top, right? That's like a classic, you know, power fantasy trope, like solo leveling. He starts E rank, bottom of E rank, and then he becomes S rank. That's like his arc. And I've been trying to draft a bit, so I've been trying to do a little bit of step 3, just trying to write whatever comes to mind. Not very consistent. I'm not like those writers who have a good schedule. So I'm thinking maybe I will actually just try to do a web novel as the first draft. Like, just put on something like Rural Road or something, so I can just make progress on it. But like, this will force me to kind of write in order. So I kind of want to have an outline done first before I commit to that. Yeah, because I've been kind of writing out of order, just whatever scenes interest me. Like, if there's a scene in the middle, I'll write that. Because I've been kind of getting stuck on the early scenes, so I kind of did not come back to it. But yeah. But now if we go on to the character art in step 4. So I have, you know, you might have seen a bit, but yeah, we have been working on that on the side as well, and I think it's good to just have this going in parallel. That's one of the better things about planning this early instead of, doing it bit by bit. Deciding to adapt things bit by bit is that we can have the character art going because, say you can't rush art, right? So if you want it to look good and not like One Punch Man Season 3, right, you gotta let it cook. And then in terms of for art for the backgrounds, I'm mostly sourcing those off of just like free stock images, and I'm editing them to kind of fit the vibe. But in terms of like the key, let's see, like the key items, or like, I guess these would be like the little buttons, the skill icons. I guess for now I'm kind of having those also prepared in parallel with the character art, because they kind of go together, right? Every character has their unique equipment that they keep with them. Then for combat, like I think for the actual like animations, I don't know, I feel like I would probably have them be like pixel art, kind of like Rotmig. But yeah, that will take a lot of effort, so I don't know when I'll get around to that, because I think it's important for the polish of the game, but that's not something I have a lot of experience in, so we'll have to get around to that. Probably near the end. Then, okay, next is music and voice acting. So I don't think we'll have voice acting for this because I don't know any voice actors, and I don't think I can afford any. But if you know any, let me know. But in terms of the music, we are also working on the music in parallel too, and you might have seen I've posted some music here and there, just kind of like ideas like, okay, this is kind of like the vibe of the game, the tone of the game. Like, I don't know how fancy we'll get with this. I don't know if we can go Undertale leitmotif or all that, but I think having original music and not AI music is good. Because I heard AI music on my Spotify today and I was so shocked. I don't think I want to hear that again. I want the music, the art to be made by real people. Now in terms of the game, I have been thinking about kind of just like it's gonna be basically a ripoff of HSR if you've seen the UI. But in terms of actually balancing the game, I clown on HSR all the time for being kind of mid, because it is. But at the same time, I also need to come up with basically a moveset for everyone that is interesting enough that they can have some synergy, and there's actually some tactical choices that you can make instead of just ooh, press button, right? And then, everything's decided for you. I don't want it to be that complicated. The focus of the game is not the gameplay, but I still want it to be mildly engaging. You'd have to put some thought into it. So yeah, so I realized that I actually don't have much experience in that at all, so that's going to be a challenge that we'll get to later. Definitely, I'm just focusing on, I want to finish the outline and get out a first draft right now. But yeah, that's enough yapping from me. See you in the next one.